christiangeekcentral.com. All right, buckle up. This car has a spoiler. Just came out of Gemini Man, and it was all right. It got me in the mood to play some more Ghost Recon Breakpoint with all of its stealthy, shooty, special opsy stuff. But let's jump into some spoiler reactions. I thought that one of them, either Will Smith or Junior, was going to die at the end, and I thought that the bee venom would be kind of like the thing that did it. Like maybe Junior wouldn't know that he was allergic to bees, or maybe I thought that was going to come back in a different way. Like maybe Junior wasn't allergic to bees and they would be counting on that at some point. It wouldn't work out or whatever. But the callbacks to the bee venom and the fear of drowning for Will Smith's character, Henry, that's right, Henry, didn't come back in the ways that I thought they would. I thought they might play up a little bit more significantly the difference between nature and nurture, where, Will Smith is afraid of drowning. Henry's afraid of drowning because of presumably what his father did to him, in those flashbacks, teaching him to swim in such a traumatic way. And, Junior wouldn't have grown up with that experience. So I thought they were going to play that contrast up a little bit more, but they didn't. They actually leaned a lot into nature, into traits being passed down through DNA, with how familiar Henry was with Junior's inner workings, and I'm not sure how true that is. I've certainly grown to appreciate more, being a father now and watching my boys, especially my oldest, get older, how much is passed down through genetics as opposed to experiences, as far as I can tell. Well, same with our youngest too. There's just some things that were true of him straight out of the womb. Anyway, so back to spoiler stuff. I liked the climax. The climax took a cool turn with having another clone show up that was just like a bad mamma jamma of combat awesomeness. And they were really kind of leaning further into science fiction there, with kind of the armor he was wearing being so defensive toward bullets and even fire and stuff, There were some just general, inconsistencies or bending of reality, just some unrealistic things. I know we've got human cloning in the mix, so we should expect that, but there were just certain elements that didn't make sense. Like when the big guy with using the chain gun just tore apart that whole department store that they were hiding in and didn't hit them at all. It's just, that's kind of like an action movie trope, for them to somehow crawl out of that alive. And I did like that the girl, whose name I can't remember, but I do like that actress and everything I've seen her in, where she shoots Junior in the shoulder. I kept waiting in that scene when she's watching them struggle in the water, and Henry keeps saying, "Don't shoot him, don't shoot him." I'm like, well, if you get a clear shot, shoot him in the legs or something, So I'm glad that she finally took a shot and got him in the shoulder, But yeah, that climax, I thought that was cool, especially since they were kind of bringing them together, Henry and his clone. So to have another clone show up, I think was nice. It was a nice kind of unexpected thing. I wondered, I knew with them covering his face, it's like, well, it's got to be a clone of some kind, but I wondered, is it going to be a clone of someone we're not expecting? Could it be a clone of Clay? He made the remark about, I should have cloned myself, so probably it wasn't. Could it be a totally left turn clone of the girl, or the woman, or whatever, I'm getting older now, so I'm sure, people that are not girls and boys are going to start looking more and more like girls and boys to me. Anyway, let me adjust this a little bit. Got a little bit of glare going on there. I'll see if I can fix it. I had this clever sun guard working for me, and I thought it was going to work, but it's not doing quite the job I wanted it to. Anyway, so they both live at the end, and I don't know, there was something about the ending that felt just a little bit too, maybe tidy to me. I'm not sure. A little too happy. I really thought one of them would die or should die or something. The fact that Clay, dies in the end, I kind of suspected that might happen when he starts coaxing Junior to not shoot his adoptive father, but then he ends up doing it himself. I thought that was, kind of a nice move on his part to, still do that by surprise so that Junior could look back and say, he wasn't letting Henry kill his adopted father, because he didn't know he was going to do that. But he still was killed, in which, to prevent the whole horrors of the cloning program, had to be done or whatever, so. I'm trying to think of any other spoilers, or things that I won't cover in my review because they'd be kind of spoilery. I don't think there's much left I would really want to say about this one. I appreciated that it had some heart to it, I appreciated that moment where, Clay was saying to Henry, I was trying to create the perfect version of you. And he said, there is no perfect version of me. There were certain elements of this script that I want to say had a much more realistic and humble view of humanity, recognizing our imperfections. And I don't know, I think Will Smith is a Christian. I think he's a Christian, I'm not sure. Maybe I'm, in a racist way, unintentionally confusing him with Denzel Washington, who I know is a Christian. But I think Will Smith might be too. And in any case, I could just sense some heart and a somewhat more biblical view of humanity in this movie than would necessarily be typical. So I just appreciate that. I appreciate that in Will Smith's movies. Early in his career, I did not, really think much of him as an actor, but as he's gotten older and taken on some roles with more emotion and heart to them, I've appreciated what he's done with those projects. So anyway, not a movie that I would have wanted to pay money for in the theater, but it was a decent experience, and now I'm ready to play some more Ghost Recon Breakpoint. All right, that's all I have to say for now. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. We've got a ton going on here at Spirit Blade Productions and Christian Geek Central, including our in-depth Bible study for geeks, movie, game, and other entertainment reviews or commentary, live streams, Christian geek news, original audio dramas, and tons more. And on top of all that, you can become a Spirit Blade insider with an influential voice and get access to exclusive content and rewards. It's your involvement as a patron that will keep all of this going and growing, so I want to thank you for your consideration in that. For more information, please check out our Patreon page through the link below at patreon.com/spiritbladeproductions. Thanks for listening.